I'm going to talk about 6 things that SMEs can do to survive coronavirus disruption. This thing have affected the world. 82% of our informal sector produces employment in Kenya. What does that mean? It means if anything stops in the country, if we close our businesses, if this lockdown, what you have been hearing in Italy, in China, this is going to severely affect our economy, even the amount of money in your pocket. We are also a medium-sized enterprise as username investment, and this is very important to us. Basically, I'm not going to tell you things out of the blue. I'm going to tell you things we are already doing in our organization at the moment. If you're running a small business, a side hustle, anything that is an SME, these things can become very important. Even for corporates, some of them are really trying, but they can also learn from our SME experience. So we'll start. Number 1, we are going to list them very fast. Number 1 is communication. Most of you have noticed, especially the majority of Kenyans, there's a lot of communication from corporates. Time and again, there are daily communications from government. Why are they doing this? For SMEs, some of them might not have picked up this. If you look at username, we have already communicated in our websites, in our social media sites. We have communicated to our customers. We have communicated internally to our members of staff. This is the time to keep communicating. Communicate, communicate, communicate. We go to cash flow. The life of business, just like the way you have blood, the way you drink water for your body, is cash flow. Cash flow in not very big term. This is basically money in and money going out. That is what it means. At this particular time, for the next 3 to 6 months, you might be on your own, especially for small and medium-sized enterprises. The government might take longer to give some way of reviving your business. I'm talking about those kinds of funds that are being given by government to keep businesses surviving. This has happened in the US, in Europe, many countries. They are doing that, injecting money in the business. Here in Africa, in our African countries, we don't have the luxury of lots of resources. So this will take time for government to come and save your business. So what you should know is that for the next 3 months, you are on your own as an SME. So what do? You have to manage your cash flow. Money coming in, money coming out. This is the time to ensure that you only, especially where your money is concerned, you only pay for the essentials. There are those essentials in any business. There are those that are non-essentials. For us, one of it is our members of staff, they come first, and many other things that I can mention about. There are those non-essential that we can do away with, entertainment and many other things. So group your expenses in terms of essentials and non-essentials for you to be able to manage cash flow much better. Cash flow, number 3 is members of staff. These are your colleagues. These are employees. This is something that is very important. For us, it is an essential matter. But it is also important to communicate clearly for them to understand what this means to your business. Your business is unique, it's not like ours. What does it mean in the short term, in the long term, in 3 months, in 6 months, in 1 year, in 2 years? They must understand that from the beginning. And that means we might have, like in username, we might consider easily flexible working hours, those rotational basis, people working from home, depending on the role that they hold here. But if this thing stays for long, this epidemic, if it affects the one like it does for a long period of time, they need to understand what will happen. I've seen members of staff in other companies who might be happy that they are going home. What they don't know is that if this epidemic stays for long, this disruption, it might lead to loss of jobs. People think members of staff might think they will go home and start receiving their salaries every month. That might not happen. After some few months, you may not be able to receive your salary. You may find your position redundant. So it is important for you to communicate what it means. That brings me to the other question, the question of performance, the question of output. For those who are working from home, you have to ensure that you give value to the organization that you are working for. I'm saying this as leaders in SME, you have to communicate that when you go home, your performance and output matters. If you are supposed to update social media, if you are supposed to update accounts, if you are supposed to do a certain online task, you must do it and do it so well. Because even your lifeline and your salary depends on that. You need, as a business leader in SME, to be able to communicate that for members of staff. Also communicate safely. Safety. Safety starts not with customers, it starts with members of staff internally. If you come here, you'll find a big explanation there that you need to sanitize your hand. The moment you know the facts, you'll stop being very afraid. So what I'm saying is it has to start with members of staff. Tell them, and they have to practice. Here you must, before you enter, you must sanitize your hands. Before you leave, when you touch anything, you must sanitize your hand. We'll talk about credit. And I'm happy the government came strongly through the Central Bank of Kenya, giving some new regulations that the banks are going to follow. One of it is about the capability to renegotiate your loan for even 1 year. Of course, this is case-to-case basis for those whose businesses depend on loan or credit facilities. This is also an opportunity. You have to look at your cash flow. You have to look at things that you must do and ask yourself, can you be able to pay that loan you have been paying every month? And if the answer is no, this is the time to call your bankers and negotiate. Something else that you can do is, if you realize your business cannot survive for the next 3-6 months, you can also be able to talk to your banker so well, depends on the relationship that you have built, so that you can get money to be able to support the business in the next 3 to 6 months, or even in the next one. Is good to work with long term. So you can be able to get more loan facilities if you can during this period. I think this is very, very important. Our customers at Username Investment, we deal with affordable land for investment and those who want to build their own houses in the next 2 to 5 years or immediately. So we have so many customers spread in Kenya and in diaspora. I know they are listening at the moment. These customers are so important to us. They say customer is king. And you have to now look deep into your databases, into your data analysis. This is actually the time to be able to adopt new mechanisms of doing things. Data analytics and all those things, they have been mentioned time and again for years. This is the time to use them. Please understand your customers. You can segment them. You can understand those who are here if you're in a business like ours. Segment your customers to know the big customers, the other many customers. Of course, there are customers who have invested a lot. There are customers who buy in bulk. There are those wholesale customers. Segment your business so that you understand so well. The other segmentation is about repeat customers. Here we have like almost 30% repeat customers. How are you treating your customer over a long period of time? Any business, especially SME, you have repeat customers. These customers might become your lifeline in this disruption period for the next 3 to 6 months. Where necessary, you need to talk to them. You need to communicate to them. These customers might help you stay afloat. Number 2, you also have to look at your debt where customers are concerned, and that's why it is important to know your loyal customers so that you can talk to them. Get as much money as possible this time. And that's also support the cash flow argument. Ensure that you don't lose customer because of this disruption. Find a way of having them. Find a way of retaining them until this disruption is over. There are certain industries. Our industry is different from aviation. Our industry is different from tourism that has been hard hit. Our industry are different from transportation. You have to look at your industry so well, understand your customer so well, understand your business so well, so that you can be able to know where to get cash flow from. I have been reading reports and reading, especially in social media, various articles in very serious newspapers about the opportunity this coronavirus gives. It is a bad thing, but after it is done, some things will change completely. Our way of life will also change. You have to accept that. Innovation is very important for an SME. It is important to think, how different can you do your business from now? What are things that you can be able to improve, be efficient in terms of delivery, in terms of reaching your customers, for us in terms of signing the documents, in terms of site visit? What are these innovations that you can apply that are very specific to your sector as an SME that can be able to help you still do business even when you're not meeting customers? I wish you all the best. I know you are going to implement these things, but before I forget, remember, safety comes first. If you are not alive, all the other things that don't matter.